Welcome to another recipe at thecheatingcook.com. Today we're going to cook rich man's instant noodles. Kidding, but we're going to cook a soba and a miso broth. Basically, instant noodles, you have the noodles which are already actually fried, and then you have that sauce packet. But instead, we're going to create everything from scratch, so it's going to be really healthy. First off, what we have here is miso. There are three different types of miso. There's shiro miso, aka miso, and kuro miso. Those refer to how strong it is. So it's light, medium, and dark. This one is aka miso. So this is like a milder tasting miso. Be careful when you use this. This is fairly salty, so you don't want to put tons of miso in your broth. Next thing we have here is soba. This is buckwheat noodle. This is the alternative to the udon. Udon is the big white one. You've probably seen that if you've ever been to a Japanese restaurant. Next thing we have here is chili oil. Chili oil is to give it a little bit of spice and kick to it. Next interesting thing we have here is aje mirin. Aje mirin is a sweet cooking rice wine. It's used to give the dish a little bit of complexity when we're finished. You can get this at your Japanese market, but nowadays you should have it at any of your standard Asian markets. For the vegetables, I'm going to use bok choy, broccoli, gnocchi, and soft tofu. If you notice here, the only four critical ingredients are these four: the miso, the buckwheat soba, the chili oil, and the mirin. Because for your vegetables, you can use anything you want. Use anything you have in your fridge. So let's say you had squash, carrots, potatoes. You can even use that. You also can add any meat. If you have like chicken, beef, pork, just make sure it's already cooked, and it'll make it a lot easier for you. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna put up a pot and fill it with like about a quarter of the way with water, and get it to boiling point. So when we come back, we'll start adding the miso and finish this up quickly. We'll come back to the miso soba recipe. What we have here is a medium stock pan with water. First, you want to get it to a boil and then lower the temperature. Thing is, if you add the miso while it's very hot, then it's going to boil over. So get it down first, and then add your miso. What I have here is 1 spoon of miso. If you buy the miso at the store, you can store it in your fridge safely for a couple months. It's just going to lose a little bit of flavor. So the very first thing is we create the soup stock. The soup stock is as simple as just dissolving the miso into the water. After it's dissolved, then you can accordingly cook the rest of the other vegetables. You have to think about the cooking time for each vegetable. Or in this set here, nothing's going to take that much time, so you actually can pretty much add it immediately. The one that's going to take the longest time is the bok choy, so we're going to add that first. Now when you add the vegetables, you can proceed to raise the heat again. After adding the bok choy, you can add the gnocchi and add the broccoli. The tofu you can add last minute. Thing is, all of these vegetables here only take me like a minute or two to cook, so we're pretty much good about that. The thing about this dish is how much miso and water you put will determine how salty and flavorful it is. So as usual, don't put too much miso in the beginning, because you're always going to add more later. If you add too much in the beginning, you're going to have to add water to dampen it a little bit. So I want to just do a little taste, see how it's doing. Okay. So now what we're going to do is grab a little bit of the aje mirin, put a dash of it, and finally get the wheat soba and just stick it in there. It's a lot easier if you cook it all in one stock instead of cooking it in two. So the thing here is the soba will take about 5 to 6 minutes to cook, and then the dish is pretty much done. So it somewhat resembles instant noodles. You just add water. But in our case, we actually create the broth from scratch, which is the miso, and we get fresh noodles, which is the soba. At the end, I have this tofu. I'll add it at the end of the dish. So when we come back, we'll see how the dish turns out. Welcome to the conclusion of the soba miso soup. Now the first thing we want to do is make sure the noodles are done. So it's been 5 to 6 minutes. It will be soft to the touch. It doesn't take that long to cook those noodles. The next thing we want to do is before we eat it, we want to taste to see if it's to our liking. So get a spoon. Alright, now what you should be tasting for is enough saltiness, just enough for you. Everyone has their own characteristics of how salty they like things. So for me, this is just enough. If it's not, you can add more miso. If it's too salty, you can add some mirin. Okay, since I like a little kick, so, I'm gonna get some chili oil and pour a little bit into there. Mix it up. So this gives it a little bit of a kick, which is nice. Taste again. So it's just salty enough. It just has enough kick, and we're done. So if you look, you have your vegetables, you have your tofu. This can be cooked literally in 10 minutes. You basically grab whatever is in your refrigerator. This is often not a planned dish. But what you need in your stock is you need the soba and you need the miso. Of anything. If you don't have mirin, you can probably substitute with sugar. If you don't have chili oil, then you can use whatever chili spices you have. So remember, just go get your miso, go get your soba, and you can create this dish anytime. When you run out of time, you go home. I hope you enjoyed this dish and you try it out. Thanks.